Hey y'all, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Okay, now we got light. Please hold while I get some coffee. Waiting. Please hold.
It's not going to be like heavy political statement, but I think we give that with a lot of sugar. I can't wait to see it. Some office and a lot of laughs. Yeah, it's strange. You can all
Let me
catch
go
the same
ahead. Let
tennis
me
that
take
will
my
listen
blood
to
sugar this morning.
David Allen for Daily Tennis. We appreciate it. Thank you. David Allen.
Thank you. Thank you for confirming the color of your jacket.
Coming up, we'll speak with the actors Juliana Margulies and Peter Gallagher here in studio to talk about their new Broadway play, Left on 10th, which brings to life an extraordinary true story of reconnection and love. Morning Joe will be right back with that. When a tough conversation on the go, the soup would be silly. Woo! Hey, try the robot from the statues. Packed with the power of robotism and every bite. Easy to take off relief anywhere. Chew on relief. Chew on a. Okay, everyone. Our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Sure, with 27 vitamins and minerals, nutrients for immune health, and it's sure complete with 30 grams of protein. Are you looking for a walk-in tub for you or someone you love? Well, look no further. January is National Bath Safety Month, and for a limited time, if you purchase a brand new 6-step walk-in tub, you'll receive a free safety package.
Thank you, Jesus.
You receive $1,500 off your
It's
entire
good.
order. Yes, $1,500 off the price of your brand new safe step walk-in tub. Proudly made in Tennessee, a safe step walk-in tub is the best in its class. The ultra-low easy step helps keep you safe from having to climb over those high-wall tubs, allowing you to age gracefully.
Oh my God.
And now you can enjoy the best
Let's
of
see
both
what kind of
worlds.
tape
The very
now.
benefits of a warm, soothing bath that help
None.
increase
Nothing.
mobility, relieve pain, boost energy, and even improve sleep. Or, if you prefer, you can take a refreshing shower with our stand-up shower package. Remember, if you call during National Bath Safety Month, you'll receive a free safety package plus $1,500 off.
Let's see what's on the mind today. Mine cut on. Mine getting that cup of coffee. Mine knows that we got more coffee in the cabinet. Okay. And getting more coffee today. Okay. In which I may do this since I got Starbucks in my container, mixing the Starbucks pipe place, if they still got it. I have to wait and see after 2 o'clock. That's when my delivery is going to be, and that's the big monthly.
OCD is more than what you see on TV and in the movies. It comes with unrelenting, intrusive images, thoughts, and urges. If you have OCD and need help, you can get better with specialized treatment. Go to nocd.com to learn more. I believe with all my heart that America must always stand for basic human rights at home.
I did a video yesterday
The fundamental force that unites us
with the small order that I received yesterday. For the one say a small order, I got 6 bags of coffee, which they're put up. 5 are from Tim Hortons. 1 is from the Roastery in Columbia, which all of their proceeds goes towards the Oliver Gospel Missions, which helps impact homelessness in the community, which I do love. I do love the Oliver Gospel Mission.
I began to believe that I had fallen into my own romantic comedy. That was a look at the new Broadway play Left on 10th, adapted for the stage. stage by acclaimed screenwriter Delia Ephron from her best-selling 2022 memoir of the same name. The show follows Ephron as she reconnects with an old flame, Peter, who reaches out to the writer after reading a moving 2016 op-ed she penned in the New York Times about the pain and frustration of disconnecting her deceased husband's landline with Verizon. Joining us now, the co-stars of Left on 10th, Emmy and Golden Globe award-winning actress Juliana Margulies, who plays Delia, and Golden Globe-winning and Tony-nominated actor Peter Gallagher, who plays Peter. You guys, welcome.
Oh my God.
Thank you for having us. This is so fun.
That's my girlfriend.
Knowing Nora and loving Nora
Uh,
as much as we did, and because Nora
It's best to stay away.
always bringing
It's
people
best to
together
stay
at
away.
dinner parties. You said
Stay
that
away, stay away. It's best.
that it was Nora
I'm just doing me. This is going to be
Ultimately.
where everyone except for the B
Yeah, she
can
had,
come into my chat.
Delia didn't remember any of it, but when Peter Rudder, Delia's now
The
husband,
B is not allowed. And B, you know, my products are still available on Spread Love, on my Spread Love store. One of them is a picture of a bee with a cross on it, and it says "Don't sell your back door" on the back page.
Actually, your sister Nora
Okay.
set us up
Okay.
when we were 18. And Delia's husband had just died, and Peter Rudder's husband, wife had just died, and they fell in love over email, and which is another confluence of events because Delia Ephron wrote We've Got Mail, which is all about people falling in love over email. Of course. We have, let's read from Delia Ephron's 2016 New York Times op-ed entitled Love and Hate on Hold with Verizon. She writes in part this: I know it's not a good idea to hate anyone. I know from an article I read that negative emotions are bad for my health. I would hate to have a heart attack because my internet isn't working, but I do hate Verizon. This all began because I disconnected one of my 2 landlines. I don't need 2 landlines now that I don't have Jerry. This is the only chance I have attempted to make in my entire life since my husband died, and it has obviously not gone well. One of my friends, not a psychic, suggested that Jerry did not want me disconnecting his phone, but honestly, that doesn't sound like Jerry. His voice was on the answering service, and I recorded it on my cell phone before asking for the disconnect.
And so this is where it all began. So talk about how Peter connects.
Well, he read that piece in the New York Times, and as we say in the play, it turns out everybody hates their self-promoted.
Right.
And it was a spectacularly successful piece, but he had just lost his wife, and he remembered quite vividly the dates they had, and of course Delia had no recollection of any of the dates, much less that there was more than one. And so he'd been looking to reconnect with her and did through the website and wrote to her, and she wrote back, and what began a lengthy email exchange, which culminated in a
I just zoom in.
So Juliana, are you finding that this story is resonating with people you're performing in front of each and
I
every night?
zoom in.
Not just responding from the crowd, perhaps people who have similar stories.
That's all I do. I just zoom in.
Joyful and incredibly moving to see the audience.
Although I like the 90s hairstyle of the side pony. The side pony just don't work for me.
Because it also, it is a romantic comedy, but it also deals with, so Nora Ephron died of myelodysplastic disease, which is it morphs and can morph into leukemia, AML. And Delia was a match to be her donor, but when they tested Delia's blood, they found out that her marrow was a little wonky. Those are her words. So she couldn't be Nora's match for a bone marrow transplant. And Nora died in 2012. And then her husband Jerry died of cancer in 2015. So she really was in this incredibly sad place in her life when Peter Rudder comes into her life and she says, I'm not sure if I want to do this because I could get what Nora had. Mm-hmm. But he came blessed by Nora.
And then I made,
because
what the roastery sent me yesterday is huge. So I don't know how to do that.
And
And so he sees the world very differently. And the people who respond to this play, first of all, transplant patients. It's a very science is amazing. 6 years after Nora died, you don't have to have an exact match. They do something called a haplocord transplant, which is taking a donor from a baby cord blood that a mother donates after giving birth and an adult donor. And you can, it's a it's a 20% chance. And she made it.
Well, this is sort of the story of grief, right? And carrying on through grief. This is something I've been reading about a lot. And I'm just curious, as you do this play, it's both joyful and, right, there's this idea that we have these long second acts, third acts, but do you feel affected by it?
Absolutely. It's a roller coaster. It's joyful, it's funny, it's sad, it's moving, and it's hope. There's so much hope in this play, and I think people walk away. I mean, the other night we were on the autographing line, and this widower and a widow, they were like, I'm a widower, we met, we found each other, this play is us.
It's really gratifying to see the extent to which the people in the audience, not necessarily accustomed to identifying with what they might be seeing on a Broadway stage, and all of a sudden they recognize themselves and people they love or people they've lost, and it hits them in a powerful way because it's not what they were expecting at all. Because when you're at our stage in life, no one's really writing too many shows for you. You're usually trying to catch up to whatever the popular culture thing is, and instead here is and you suddenly have permission to grieve, and you have permission to not feel alone, and permission to sort of give those coincidences, those confluences we call it in life, validity and value, and ultimately where there's life there's hope, and there are second chances. So it's powerful to look. See, I had no idea what the show was, and I lost my wife 2 years ago, and it's what I love more than anything, contributing to a story that has a place in the world that you live in. So
It looks like you guys are having so much fun too. It was really amazing.
It's sort of a real life version. You talked about You've Got Mail.
Right.
100%.
I think I've seen that about as much as I've seen It's a Wonderful Life. This is the real life version.
Everything in it is true.
Everything's true.
Everything's true. Even their emails they're writing to that we had to memorize it's from their emails.
Peter says, I wish I had used some of that.
Left on 10th is playing now at Broadway's James Earl Jones Theater for a limited engagement through February 2nd. That's the James Earl Jones Theater.
He deserves these things. He deserves these things. You were asking about how long? I mean, we've been this right for years. This is the end of 4 hours.
It's an hour 40 minutes no intermission, which people really like. You're in and you're out.
Peter Gallagher, thank you both very much.
I wish my TV provider let me choose what I pay for. I wish my TV provider let me choose what I pay for and let me pause my subscription when I want. Why would you do that? Customize your channel or watch for free.
And I got Tubi. And I can't wait to get my DVD movie. I'm gonna show it all.
See right now. That's convenient. Vision works. See the difference.
Whether you need to lose 10, 20, 50, or over 100 pounds, make the healthy choice with Golo. Head to Golo.com. That's GOLO.com.
Yes. For that kind of excitement, download Bingo Blend and fill your day with Bingo moments, power ups, and challenging missions. Play now, it's free. This after. This year, lose stubborn fat permanently with Sono Bello one-visit fat removal.
I wanted the results of the tummy tuck, but not the downtime. I'm so happy. I'm loving life. I'm loving my body. I'm loving all my loose-fitting clothes. My waist is contoured. My belly is flat. There's no boobs anymore.
Schedule your free, no obligation patient consultation. Call now or go to sonobello.com.
At Better Gym, everyone gets a welcome offer. So whether you're courtside trying to hit the open, or up here trying to hit the under, or hit that well with your girl. Yeah, we did this. Away up here with a same game parlay. Yeah. Better Gym's got your back. Get your welcome offer and play with the sportsbook born in Vegas.
With the Shane Dang Parlay. I love that commercial.
Bonus bets when you sign up now. BetMGM. Download it.
But they won't do it in South Carolina because it's online. Betting. Gambling. But yet, y'all got the lottery. Ain't that the same thing? We wanted the lottery. And we would want gambling. Because that'll bring money back into the state. Even church-going folks would agree. Because who fills up the damn casinos? Riding up on them casino buses. Riding up on the church buses that says Jesus loves you on the side. Who does that? Christian people. Who are the first people that sticks out their hands besides Uncle Sam, because Uncle Sam's going to get his cut when someone hits the lottery? Who is also in line to stick their hand out? The church. The church. 9 times out of 10, it's the church. So why are they complaining of?
Hello and welcome to this special holiday edition of Morning Joe. Happy New Year. We're on tape this morning, bringing you some of our best conversations, including this
Gambling.
when Time Magazine named its 2024.
I understand it is a disease. You can't control it. But I'm just saying, who are the people that also stick their hands out?
Ringing the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange. It's connected to Time Magazine, choosing him as its Person of the Year. And Time's editor-in-chief, Sam Jacobs, joins us now. Good to have you with us.
So Sam, I don't know if this be a controversial pick or not. It's hard to not take it, given how times I always said, for good or ill, the person who's most impacted the year. We had a trial. We had an assassination attempt. We had the most tumultuous campaign in modern history.
Oh, that month.
We had a rhetoric that, at least we thought around this table, was the most divisive in recent American history. And then we had a victory where Donald Trump improved in 49 to 50 states. Talk about this year. This just for this year.
I think, Joe, you made the case for why Donald Trump is Time's 2024 Person of the Year.
I'm not buying Time. Fuck it. Time. Y'all disappointed me. Fuck you. It should have been Taylor Swift. It should be Kamala Harris. Hell, it should be me.
And I think in some ways, because we've been living in that age for nearly a decade now, the sheer extraordinary nature of this year is hard to take notice of. You just walked us through those events. Each one of those events is going to be a moment in time that historians are going to be writing about for years.
So take us behind the scenes a little bit, as best you can, of this selection process. Some of the other nominees we know about: Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel, Vice President Harris, of course, Trump defeated in the election, Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, and others. Talk to us about these conversations here and why the choice became clear that it was Trump.
Some years, this is a hard choice. Mika, last year we talked about Taylor Swift and the decision behind that. This year, not a hard choice. We certainly asked the president-elect about many of those people that you just mentioned, and he's got opinions about all of them. But this was an obvious decision for those of us in time.
Yeah.
When I looked at this, I agree with you. That had to be Donald Trump, and really the moment was the shooting in Butler, Pennsylvania. Because when people forget history, say a year into that 1973, their minds scramble what happened in America. But that moment where he's bleeding and saying fight, 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 and that moment is when Bobby Kennedy Jr. made an effort to go see Trump and talk about assassination, what happened to his father. And that moment, Elon Musk endorsed him, and it kind of coalesced for Trump. And then the symbol in Milwaukee for the Republican and the National Committee was the bandaged ear.
Yeah.
And at that point, it started looking like it was going to be the year of Trump. Only one on the list that could have replaced that would have been Harris if she had won, and we would be talking about her first woman president, but alas, that didn't happen.
I think that is a transformational moment for Trump and for the country. We asked him about it, and he said a lot of people changed how they thought about me during that moment. It's harder to get him to talk about how it changed him.
Right.
But he certainly recognizes that, or a moment when he moves from being maybe a factional political leader to a cultural one.
Correct.
Simone, do you have a question?
Yeah, I'm interested in the conversation, the interview that the president-elect did that goes along with the endorsement. He said a number of things. I was struck by his admission that, he might not be able to get grocery prices down. This isn't his first time on the list. Can you tell us a little bit about the interview? And I know people should definitely take a stab and go read it because it's great.
I don't think there's a news organization that spent more time on the record with President-elect Trump this year than Time. This interview is incredibly revealing. I'd be happy to talk through his thoughts on foreign policy, domestic policy. This is someone who we spent time with in the spring, and then again, we talked to for 65 minutes at Mar-a-Lago Thanksgiving week about pretty much everything.
Did you notice any changes between Trump pre-election and post-election?
We found him to become much more subdued, lower volume. I think reflective would be.
They said they got it all.
Doing a level of introspection that we hadn't seen before. Trump is most.
They said they got it all. They got all the tumor. They're sending it off.
And is now searching to figure out what his positioning is. He said to us, "It's actually sad that this is over. That this will never happen again." He seems happiest on a campaign stage, in a campaign, and he's starting to think through what it means for this to be his last campaign.
Maggie Haberman, who knows him as well as any journalist, always said that if you want to understand Donald Trump, you have to understand that his entire life he's been fighting to survive the next 5 minutes. 5 minutes at a time. And now you're suggesting that fight, at least politically, is over.
Over the course of 65 minutes with him, we found him to realize that that's done.
I mean, that political fight for the next campaign is.
I think so. He's now thinking about which of my kids is going to have a role, which of my family members. We asked him, what's the future of MAGA without Trump? He has trouble answering that question.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm magazine editor-in-chief Sam Jacobs. Thank you very much for coming on. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much, Sam. And I just want to be very clear. I'm not talking about how he's not stopping fighting, but again, the political fight that he's been in nonstop since 2012, 2013. That's now at an end, unless of course he wants to fight to run for a third time.
And I think he wants to position himself as a global statesperson. I think he sees that, like Eisenhower when he came in, won it big in 52, and instead got out of Korea by June of 53. I think he's going to roll in there.
Yeah, listen to this.
Syria and Israel, Gaza situation, Russia, Ukraine. Can I now run for something larger than the presidency, like global leader, that and work with China, Russia, in a big time old style summit way?
Presidential historian Doug Brinkley, thank you very much. And Simone Sanders Townsend, thank you as well. We'll be watching The Weekend Saturdays and Sundays starting at 8 a.m. right here on MSNBC.
Let's turn back to politics now. In his interview with Time magazine conducted late last month for Time's Person of the Year, which he was named yesterday, Donald Trump did not give a clear answer on whether he would allow his pick for Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., to end childhood vaccine programs. Trump also appeared to draw a false link between vaccines and autism, one that's been debunked many, many times over the years, telling Time, quote, "We're going to have a big discussion. The autism rate is at a level that nobody ever believed possible. If you look at things that are happening, there's something causing it." When asked directly if he believes vaccines are linked to autism, Trump answered in part, "I'm going to be listening to Bobby
doses and 2 vaccines. Trump went on to say he
We're
would be willing to
fucked.
get rid of some vaccines if he thinks they are unsafe. When pressed again on whether he agreed with RFK Jr.'s discredited belief that vaccines are linked to autism, Trump answered in part, "I want to see the numbers. It's going to be the numbers." He claimed his administration will be conducting studies, adding, quote, "We will know for sure what's good and what's not good." Let's bring in former chairman of the Republican National Committee, now co-host of The Weekend on MSNBC, Michael Steele, and NBC News correspondent Vaughn Hilliard. Good morning to you both. Vaughn, I want to start with you because you conducted a memorable interview with Bobby Kennedy Jr. just a couple of weeks ago where you asked him many of these same questions about his plans for vaccines, his plans for fluoride in the water, just to remind our viewers where he stands on some of that stuff. And that it won't be like a waving of a wand if he does become Secretary of HHS to just get rid of these vaccines.
Right, there's going to be a lot of layers of bureaucracy that it'll take for him to wade through in order to pull that off here. But I think one interesting note about Bobby Kennedy is the fact that Donald Trump
Okay, let me go ahead and fix me a cup of coffee. Cuss him out.
He's pretty convinced about knowing the answers himself. And over the course of the last month, we have consistently seen from Donald Trump in saying that he'll leave this into the hands of Bobby Kennedy to essentially tell him what to do, in which direction to go. And since Bobby Kennedy was nominated as HHS Secretary, we also have to pay attention to Dave Weldon, who was nominated by Donald Trump to take over the CDC. Kennedy and Weldon go back to the early 2000s, in which they would reference each other's works, pointing out the idea that there was a preservative in vaccines that was the cause of autism. Of course, peer-reviewed, the scientific research has consistently shown an inability to find such a link. At the same time, Kennedy is the most sort of documented being placed within proximity of the president of the United States. Yesterday, on the floor of the stock exchange, I was covering Donald Trump as he rang in the bell, and he was there with Bobby Kennedy. And so there is an access to Donald Trump and an openness that is, I think, particularly unusual from the incoming president, an openness to somebody else's opinion and ultimate word on the policy that should be enacted, and that's a lot of power that Bobby Kennedy could be potentially yielding in the months ahead.
Up next, conservative New York Times columnist David French calls Donald Trump a lucky man and says it's all due to Joe Biden. We'll explain when Morning Joe comes right back.
Introducing new Roxon Gel, the first FDA-cleared ED treatment available without a prescription. Roxon Gel is clinically proven to work within 10 minutes, so you and your partner can experience the heights of intimacy. New Roxon ED treatment gel.
Are you looking for a walk-in tub for you or someone you love? Well, look no further. January is National Bath Safety Month, and for a limited time, when you purchase your brand new Safe Step walk-in tub, you'll receive a free safety package. And if you call today, you'll also receive $1,500 off your entire order. Yes, $1,500 off the price of your brand new Safe Step walk-in tub. Proudly made in Tennessee, a Safe Step walk-in tub is the best in its class. The ultra-low Easy Step helps keep you safe from having to climb over those high-wall tubs, allowing you to age gracefully in the home you love. And now, you can enjoy the best of both worlds. The therapeutic benefits of a warm, soothing bath that help increase mobility, relieve pain, boost energy, and even improve sleep. Or, if you prefer, you can take a refreshing shower with our stand-up shower package. Remember, if you call during National Bath Safety Month, you'll receive a free safety package plus $1,500 off.
Sometimes you just need a moment. Self-care has never been this easy. Gummy vitamins from Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist recommended vitamin and supplement brand.
After Homoglow Cleaner placed $19, we hired our own housekeeper. Homoglow tackled everything from our kitchen to our bathroom, all our laundry. We just pick a date, pick a cleaner, and enjoy a spotless house for $19.
Trumpy Bear is back. The 3rd edition collectible Trumpy Bear is once again here for all to see. Everyone knows what thumbs up means. Ready to go. And with that grin, Trumpy Bear is ready to win the
Got it.
On the subject of foreign policy, conservative columnist David French has
Got
a
it.
piece for the New York Times that caught our eye this morning. It's titled "Biden Has a Pair of Gifts for Trump." David writes in part, Donald Trump is a lucky man. He's inheriting a growing economy and weakened enemies in 2025. If Trump wants to capitalize on our enemies' weaknesses, he's going to have to shed at least some of his isolationism. Trump is far more self-interested than he is ideological, and an American retreat in Syria or the site of Russian Marshall or an Iranian nuclear bomb would all be dedicated to him. It would signal
All the medicines together.
Trump's weakness. In other words, Trump's vanity may save us from Trump's isolationism, but vanity is a poor proxy for a coherent national security strategy. Trump is a fortunate man. He's inheriting the conditions for profound foreign policy success. But he's also inheriting the possibility of failure. The troubling reality is that his instincts are wrong. His national security picks are flawed, and he may well snatch a series of terrible defeats from the jaws of extraordinary military and diplomatic success. That's David French this morning in the New York Times. At least, what do you make of David's point there, which is that Joe Biden actually, for all the criticism of Donald Trump, has left Trump in a pretty good position here?
I like David, but I really don't agree with that argument very much. I think that the world, as Richard Haas would say, is in disarray right now. I think that I'm not going to lay all of that on President Biden, but it's just coming into a very perilous point. And I do think that the safe face aspect of Donald Trump, and he's so reactive to bad press, will, mean that we're not going to have some crazy retreat into isolation the way that some have predicted. He's going to try to save face no matter what. So I don't really
Okay, I'm gonna do this.
exactly. I just don't
Two,
want to see Tehran. I don't want to see
four,
hardcore
all
action.
this
Immediately.
in
We're not
here.
going to see any of that, I don't think.
I mean, that's possible, but we also let's remember he was this close to deploying out of NATO back in 2018 on the eve of the Council Summit.
Oh.
It is interesting that Mike back in the New York Times yesterday, he acknowledged that there was a harder this is deal with
This.
hours, and he even suggested he might want to try to leverage U.S. military aid there to try to bring it in to this. He also suggested switch with the Middle East was full of it wasn't going to be just as easy
Get all
as
this.
talk about the campaign trail. There are some grown-ups in the room. Double address Secretary of State as we prepare for a second Trump term. How do you see the Trump foreign policy doctrine 2.0?
Jonathan, I was sentenced to Washington, D.C. for a couple of days this week.
We saw hearts went.
Company towns, but you mentioned Marco Rubio.
Get the shot
Right now, he's the most
ready.
interesting nominee of Donald Trump's Secretary of State. It's going to be interesting to see which direction he wants to take the administration in terms of foreign policy. National Security Advisor, who's already been named, is a good pick, a solid pick that everybody likes. But we're looking at a situation where I'm told the immediate question is Syria going to be a failed state, like almost immediately? Is it going to be balkanized? What's Turkey's role going to be in the future of Syria? What are the Russians going to do with regard to propping up their existing naval base and military base in
Okay.
and the impact of the Israeli attacks within Lebanon and Syria, that had on the whole situation. And then, after you're getting ready, finish worrying about that, Ukraine. What's going to happen in Ukraine? Is that going to be resolved within the next 90 days, within the next 6 months, or is it never going to be resolved? I mean, something's got to happen there. The Ukrainians are running low on manpower. It's a very small nation compared to Russia. Putin doesn't care about life. He just feeds anyone into the maw of battle. And the casualties that they've suffered, Russia has suffered, are enormous. So, how are you going to handle this when you don't know who's going to be Secretary of Defense? When you don't know who's going to replace replace Tulsi Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence in the White House. How are you going to handle this from within the administration? That's almost as big a problem as America's role in the world, because to play a role in the world, you have to be shipshape here at home going forward.
There's a lot on the chessboard of Donald Trump conceding in that Time Person of the Year interview that Ukraine is going to be a little more complicated than he let on during the campaign.
Still ahead, the new Forbes list of the most powerful women is out. Mika talks to Maggie McGrath and Huma Abedin about who made it. When Morning Joe returns.
Life, diabetes, there's no slowing down. Each day is a unique blend of people to see and things to do. That's why you choose Glucerna to help manage blood sugar response. Uniquely designed with carb steady. Glucerna, bring on the day.
Have you also checked with your weight? Same.
Discover the power of Wegovy. With Wegovy, I lost 35 pounds. And some lost over 46 pounds.
And I'm keeping the weight off.
I'm reducing my risk. Wegovy is the only weight management medicine proven to reduce risk of major cardiovascular events such as death, heart attack, or stroke in adults with heart disease and obesity. Don't use Wegovy with semaglutide or GLP-1 medicines or in children under 12. Don't take if you or your family have MTC, MEN2, or if allergic to it. Tell your provider if you plan to have surgery or a procedure, are breastfeeding, pregnant, or planning. Stop taking it. Get medical help right away if you get a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, or any of these allergic reactions. Serious side effects may include pancreas inflammation and gallbladder problems. Call your prescriber if you have any of these symptoms. Wegovy may cause low blood sugar in people with diabetes, especially if you take medicines to treat diabetes. Call your prescriber about vision changes, if you feel your heart racing while at rest, or if you have mental changes. Depression or thoughts of suicide may occur. Common side effects include nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation, stomach pain, flu or upset, headache, feeling tired, dizzy or bloated, gas, and heartburn. Some side effects lead to dehydration, which may cause kidney problems.
With Wegovy,
I'm losing weight.
I'm keeping it off.
And I'm lowering my CV risk. Ask your prescriber about Wegovy.
Snoopy arrives at Solitaire Grand Harvest. Dive into a world of fun and adventure with Snoopy right by your side. As you play solitaire, solve challenges, and reach new heights, Solitaire never felt so good than Solitaire Grand Harvest. Download for free now.
And here we go. Your consumer cellular tower.
I didn't know they built towers.
They don't. Consumer cellular uses the same towers as big wireless, but then passes the savings on to you.
So I get the same fast nationwide coverage if I switch?
Yep, save your money for something else. Speaking of, I ordered us some Thai food. Thank you. Oh, shoot. I'll forget it. Pretty high up here, isn't it? For unlimited talk and text with reliable coverage and your second month free, call Consumer Cellular.
Trumpy Bear is back. The third edition collectible Trumpy Bear is once again here for all to see. Everyone knows one thumbs up means ready to go. And with that grin, Trumpy Bear is ready to win. The all-new 2024 Trumpy Bear shows you his patriotism with his flag-themed tie. Then open the secret zipper and let the American-themed cape fly. My oh my, what a cool guy. The original new Trumpy Bear is big and super plush. With those eyes, that hair, it's almost impossible not to stare. Trumpy Bear is here, there, everywhere. And if you're tired, Trumpy Bear is here to inspire. Don't delay. Order the most talked about bear anywhere. Trumpy Bear can be yours for only $69.90, complete with his hologram 2024 certificate of authenticity. And if you call now, the new Trumpy ties are only $10 extra. Express every feeling with color and style. So don't delay. Show your patriotism today.
Well, I have Maggie and Huma here. We are taking a closer look at the new Forbes list of the 100 most powerful women, highlighting the world's most inspirational female CEOs, entertainers, politicians, philanthropists, policymakers, and more. So let's dive into the mix. It's a really complex picture of female power, Maggie.
It is a complex picture. I'm glad you used that word because we've seen over the course of the year a series of regressive forces against female power, and on the 2024 list you won't see some names that you saw last year, like Karen Lynch, the former CEO of CBS, or the outgoing Vice President Kamala Harris. But the women on this list are defying those global headwinds and commanding a significant amount of power. At number 1, we have Ursula von der Leyen. She is the president of the European Commission. She was just reelected to a 5-year term earlier this year. It's her 3rd year in a row at the number 1 spot. Number 2, Christine Lagarde, head of the European Central Bank, hugely important for monetary policy. At number 4 is someone making her debut to the list. That is Claudia Sheinbaum. She is Mexico's president, the first woman in its 200-year history to hold the role. She won by a large margin in June, and we'll be watching her in the new year as the Trump administration enacts tariffs. So we have a lot of women also alongside her who are newcomers to the list, who are the first in their position. We have Rachel Reeves. She's the UK's Chancellor of the Exchequer. It's basically the British equivalent of the Treasury Secretary. She's the first woman in 800 years to hold that role. She's number 39 on the list. At 55, we have Bonnie Chan. She's the CEO of the Hong Kong Exchanges and Clearing, which operates the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. It's the 9th largest in the world. So significant financial power. If I can just get one more in, we have some breaking news at Forbes. We are today announcing our first ever female CEO. Sherry Phillips has been announced as the next CEO, taking the role in January, first in 107 years.
Well, there you go. That's amazing news, and congratulations to Sherry. So, Kuma, a number of women in politics and policy also made the list. Many who rode a populist wave to their positions in power. So, what can you tell us about sort of this shift to the right globally? And how it's affecting female leadership.
Well, I thought it was a very interesting list, and power is a pendulum, and that pendulum is certainly swinging right, and not all power is progressive power or good power. Number 3 on the list is the post-fascist Prime Minister of Italy, Giorgia Meloni. And I remember being in Italy, Mika, in September of 22, and people being really concerned about the fact that she would be this very authoritarian figure. And she's really balanced that out with the pragmatism and sort of steady leadership. And she's number 3 on the list. And I think the fact that we have 7 EU countries that now have far right representation in their governments, she's going to be a key contact, I think, for our incoming administration and that entire continent, frankly. And another interesting political person on the list is Susie Wiles, who makes her debut on number 72 on the list. And Mika, you question why, somebody like Susie Wiles takes on this campaign. And I think what she brought to Donald Trump's campaign is steady leadership. The chaos and disorganization that we've heard in years past elections went away. She's worked for Republicans across the ideological spectrum. I think it's very interesting to see with steadiness.
She will be very interesting to watch. I totally agree with you. Fascinated with that. Maggie, there's someone unexpected in the number 100 spot. Tell us about her.
I'm so excited to tell you about her. You've heard a lot about her. She is Caitlin Clark. Yay. She broke the NCAA scoring record for men and for women earlier this year, and she has driven unprecedented attention to women's basketball, women's sports as a whole. We spoke with Coach Dawn Staley earlier this year, and I asked Dawn, I said, women have been playing at a high level for so many decades. Why is it taken till now for women's sports to have a breakthrough moment? And Coach Staley told us sometimes you need a unifier, and that unifier is Caitlin Clark. People want to watch her. The WNBA recorded record viewership and attendance this year, and that is translating to real money. There was a $2 billion TV rights deal announced earlier this year, and sources tell us that women's sports are just getting started. So Caitlin Clark takes our number 1 spot, or number 100, as someone who has driven the narrative of the year.
So, and Dawn, a 50 over 50 lister, to my next point, Huma, a lot of overlap with the 50 over 50 list, where these women that we're honoring with our effort in our 30-50 summit and our 50 over 50 list are really showing that women sometimes reaching their highest power, greatest impact, and even finding the happiness that has eluded them much later in life.
Yeah, well, number 8 on our list is Melinda French. On your list is Melinda French Hayes. I think she is also on the 50 over 50 list. She is one of the most important women and powerful women in philanthropy. And just since we spoke to Elizabeth Alexander, just the fact that this May she made a commitment to $1 billion to support women and girls causes over the next 3 years. that's real investment.
Yes.
And we'll see real impact. And I thought that was very exciting. And then number 44 on the list is Janet Troncalli. I know we like speaking about women first, and she's the first woman to lead a Big Four audit firm. And I love that she started in 1991 as an intern, and now she leads 400,000 employees with 50 million in revenue annually.
We're going to be announcing our 4th annual 50 over 50 global list right here on Morning Joe next month, so stay tuned for that.
Dawn's in it. Dawn's in it.
As always, thank you so much. Great to see you guys.
This week we were bringing you my conversation with former President Bill Clinton, where he talked about his life after the White House and his thoughts on today's Democratic Party. He reflected on his achievements as we toured his presidential library and museum in Little Rock, Arkansas, now celebrating its 20th anniversary. The library is just absolutely gorgeous, and for those that are looking at it and wondering where the inspiration was architecturally, tell us about it.
Well, first, I wanted it to be full of life, and it is. And and that's the Arkansas River, and it rolls along it. But this room and the one below it has all this open lighting because it's modeled on the long room at Trinity College Dublin, where the library is. And that is right across the green from where I had a rally as president when we went there promoting the Irish peace process. So it has a big old meaning to me.
So we see a lot of books here. What are these records of?
These are the official records of the administration. So if somebody asks us, I'm the president of the nation, citizens have a right to know what you did, know your time.
Let's talk about the state dinners, and as we go through here, and also, of course, gifts that you got for the state dinners. Were those mainly ceremony, or did you get work done there that made a significant difference?
At the dinners per se, there was anything happening between me and someone else that got work done. But I had all my senior people were there, so did they. And a lot of those things worked in our benefit. Now, if we had, on St. Patrick's Day, when we have an Irish dinner, and we get a lot done that we can provide a cover for both sides to come upstairs and meet with me and talk through things and see where we were. And everybody knew what was going on and wasn't really reported on because nobody could prove it was happening.
Right.
And we helped.
I've been asked about this senior powder here. It caught my eye. You kept this in your office, right? This is what you kept in your office.
We saved all this sporting stuff. I've got a lot of baseball memorabilia, and I had a baseball club ball signed by roommates, Rose McCulley, and one workshop.
Oh my God.
It's my most valuable baseball.
And I see Bill Mazeroski.
Bill
Hit his home run in 1960.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Now, could I ask you, how important was it for you, and you've seen other presidents do this too, to get out and golf, but to be outside?
I could be on the first tee 10 minutes after I left the White House. And there were lots of times when I went there late in the afternoon and just for 9 holes of golf. And I might be on the 4th or 5th hole before I hit a good shot because you can't do anything to play if you're going to play. Like, you can't even think about it. But it was incredibly helpful to me. And I loved playing there, and I was very grateful.
Helped you clear your head,
Yeah.
obviously.
You needed you got to let it go.
From all the work.
This is interesting. These are some of the saxophones over here. And these are just some of them. We may add to them or change them around, but they really were great
Mr. President, thank you so much. Such a great honor. Always wonderful to see you. President Clinton's new memoir, Citizen, is available now.
Up next, two-time Emmy nominee Ron Perlman will join the conversation to talk about his new film, Day of the Fight. Morning Joe will be right back.
This foundation covers everything, but still looks like skin. I took that 90-second quiz on their website to match me perfectly. You guys can try this for free, 14 days. You will be in love with this foundation.
When the temperature drops and winter settles in, you've got two choices. Close your eyes and think warm thoughts, or open your eyes, grab your heater, and get out here. This winter, there's only one choice worth making. And there's only one vehicle lineup that embraces everything the cold has to offer. The official vehicles of winter. Jeep, there's only one.
Hi, how you doing? Hello.
Oh, it's cold outside. Time to protect your vehicle from winter's wrath. Of course, the hot sun can be tough on vehicles too. You need WeatherTech. Laser metric floor liners and cargo liner will shield the carpeting from sand and snow. For your interior, there's seat protector and sunshade, plus mud flaps and bump step for the exterior. Impact liner with shock-absorbing rings safeguards your truck bed from costly damage. Order American-made products at WT.com.
That's my percentage. 71. Okay.
Shopify's point-of-sale system helps you sell at every stage of your business. With fast and secure payment, card readers you can rely on, and one place to manage it all. Whatever the stage, businesses that grow with Shopify.
Dry eyes still feel gritty, rough, or tired? With MyBo, eyes can feel. MyBo is the only prescription dry eye drop that forms a protective layer for the #1 cause of dry eye, too much tear evaporation. For relief, that's remove contact lenses before using MyBo. Wait at least 30 minutes before putting them back in. Eye redness and blurred vision may occur. Ask your eye doctor about prescription MyBo.
Premium beef for a natural diet.
Most people don't realize how processed typical dog food is. At the Farmer's Dog, we believe dogs should be able to get their daily nutrition without the excess processing.
Digestibility is just better. And the right amount of protein, the right amount of fat, the right amount of nutrients being added. It's real food.
Everybody wants to take care of their dog in the best way that they can. Our mission is just to help them do that.
Donald Trump plans to reshape the U.S. government.
Democrats have wasted no time in laying the groundwork to fight the incoming Trump administration. Donald Trump wants a presidential cabinet full of loyalists.
Don't miss the weekend, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 8
On MSNBC.
MSNBC Premium gives you early access and ad-free listening to Rachel Maddow's chart-topping series, MSNBC Original Podcasts, exclusive bonus content, and all of your favorite MSNBC shows now ad-free. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts.
What's this I hear? Party tonight.
In the car, that's me.
Yo, you young fuck got enough to smoke a pack a day and still go 12 rounds. Today's my last day.
I'm sorry I didn't give you more. Just remember the good.
Whichever way it goes tonight, just know that we're proud of you.
No matter what happens, I need to know that you can pay. Kid, I love her. No, I do.
But you gotta let things go.
I got nothing, okay? I got no wife, I got no kid, I got nothing. I'm sorry I wasn't the son that you wanted.
Like people that really matter in your life, I found I'm willing to forgive it.
That was a look at the new film, Day of the Fight, premiering at the Venice Film Festival last year. The movie follows boxer Irish Mike Flanagan and his coach and father figure Stevie, as they try to build the former middleweight champion back up for his first fight in years following his release from prison. Critics have been absolutely raving about the film, with the New York Times review calling it, quote, an unabashed genre picture that manages to be both the kind of movie they supposedly don't make like they used to, and also something gracefully fresh. Those are good words. Joining us now, Day of the Fight co-star, Golden Globe winning actor Ron Perlman, who plays Stevie, and the film's director, producer, and writer Jack Houston, who is making his directorial.
Congratulations.
Congrats to you both. So Jack, let's start with you. Your first time behind the camera. Why this film? Why now?
I think I wasn't in any rush to get behind the camera. I think this, I had to find something that really called to me, something that made me not just want to do it, but have to do it. And when the story came to me, it was one of those moments where it brought tears to my eyes when I thought about Michael in this role, Michael Peart, who plays our lead Irish Knight. Then I started sort of putting it together, and the things, sort of elements came together, and it's one of the great moments when you actually do get to go and make your first film, especially something which is as heartfelt and real as something like this. It's sort of a throwback, like the New York Times was saying, to films that don't really get made much anymore, which are human stories, adult stories, stories that make you feel something. I love going to the theater and feeling something.
So Ron, tell us what drew you to this film, and in particular, your character.
Well, in 2 words, Jack Houston. We go back a couple of decades, but to be a witness to somebody who is leaving his comfort zone, doing something that he's never done before, which is writing and directing a movie, which is a very daunting task to those of us who toil in this little art form. That's having a front row seat in something that is kind of heartwarming and historic, and I wanted to be there for that. I also found the script to be incredibly moving and resonating, and the character that he asked me to play was pivotal, and was going to have a major impact on the way the movie turned out. So
Ron, let's take a look at a clip where we see the softer but still expletive laden side of your character, Stevie.
hey, yes.
You always put that up and smoke a pack a day, still flow around. Today's my last day. I've been saying that for 20 years. Hey, David. Today I actually meet. See a little pop in that thing. That's better. How you feel? Did you get some sleep last night? Yeah, kinda, Yeah, night before a fight. Mine won't shut down. You had a crazy dream last night? Yeah, it was like this dream where we were in the meat market. You know what, Mikey? Ask me if I can.
Ron, we had to have the finger hovering over the bleep button for that clip. But talk to us.
It was a nice, benign little fun there.
Yeah, family friendly before 10 a.m. here in the East Coast. So Ron, tell us though about a little more about your character, but also just the cast, like extraordinary. Just a few. Joe Pesci, Steve was saying about the course. Just what an all-star team is this.
Yeah, no, and I mean it's great to feel like you're part of the 27 Yankees. It's kind of like a cast of murderers row, but in the center of it, and this is something that shows the his most
did you love about this storyline? And talk about working with Ron.
Well, I sort of set out to make a movie about a boxer, not a boxing movie, because you know, it's all character. It's I wanted to make something relatable and something that asks the sort of major question, which is if you only had one day, what would you do? Who would you see? What would you say to them? You know, our sort of tagline is how far would you go for the ones you love? Because the metaphor of the film is day of the fight isn't what he's fighting for in the ring, it's everything outside of the ring he's fighting for. He's fighting for everybody, every single thing, all those mistakes. It's this redemptive journey. So, I mean, I was so lucky to get Ron Perlman. I've been sort of very fortunate in my life. I've got to work with some of my heroes, Ron being top of that list. That was, you know, a few years by a film that shall not be named, but we had such a great time off camera, is the better way of saying it. But I just needed somebody because, you know, Mikey's, he didn't have a father figure. His father was very abusive and, you know, very tough on him. You know, you can see it comes out in the film. Stevie, his coach, became that sort of father figure for him, that mentor, somebody who stood by him through thick and thin, through his mistakes, never wavered, was always there. And, you know, at the end of the film, he says, I could never have done this without you, Stevie. And the beautiful thing is, nobody embodies this like Ron. It's the most delicate, sympathetic, funny, abrasive, but he captures and encapsulates all of these amazing feelings, and he has a last line that I watch Ron and it brings tears to my eyes. I think he's just one of the most beautiful performances. It's beautiful.
Day of the Fight is playing in select theaters now and will continue to expand in theaters throughout December and January. Actor Ron Perlman and director, producer, and writer Jack Houston, thank you both very much. Congratulations on this.
Coming up, actor Peter Sarsgaard joins us with a look at his new movie that covers the hostage crisis during the 1972 Munich Olympics and how it was broadcast live on television. Morning Joe is back in just a moment.
What's your step? That's why VisionWorks makes it simple to schedule an eye exam that works for you, even if you have a big trip to plan around.
Thanks.
Maybe see you right now. That's convenient. VisionWorks. See the difference.
After my hair started thinning, my dermatologist recommended Nutrafol. The formulas are clinically tested. My hair is much stronger and longer. I feel like I'm a completely different person.
Get growing at Nutrafol.com.
Snoopy arrives at Solitaire Grand Harvest. Dive into a world of fun and adventure with Snoopy right by your side as you play solitaire, solve challenges, and reach new heights. Solitaire never felt so good with Solitaire Grand Harvest. Download for free now.
There's some feelings you can get with any sports book.
Oh.
But the feeling that no matter what, you're taken care of. Oh, I just earned a hotel suite. You only get the game at Sportsbook Born in Vegas, where they know how to treat you right. We talk $230 bucks. Bonus bets, exclusive offers, real world rewards. BetMGM. Download and bet today.
Did you know some liquid laundry detergents are designed to leave chemical residue on your clothes? Try Earth-Breeze laundry detergent sheets. Unlike some liquid laundry detergents, Earth-Breeze delivers a powerful clean with less chemical residue and no optical brighteners. Plus, each sheet is made of 100% concentrated cleaning ingredients to fight tough stains. For a powerful clean with less chemical residue, try Earth-Breeze, available at Walmart. Brand power helping you buy better.
Do you know why I stopped cleaning my apartment? My first cleaning with Home Glow was just $19. Since then, I was sold. This is the best, most affordable cleaning service I've ever seen. Book your first $19 cleaning today.
If you're living with dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy, or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to slow it down. Ask your doctor about eye survey. Eye survey is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Eye survey can cause eye infection infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression, which may help preserve vision longer. So shift gears and get going. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay.
Hate cakey foundation. It's time for an upgrade. This quiz is scarily accurate. I answered a couple of questions and this is literally my perfect shade. Am I even wearing foundation? Is undetectable, weightless, and buildable. Take the quiz to find your perfect shade.
So lightweight. Feels like my skin.
I took that 90-second quiz on their website to match me perfectly. You don't have this foundation. What are you doing?
Try before you buy.
What's the situation?
The police are reporting the terrorist attack is very legit.
There's a hostage situation going on right now in the Olympic Village. NBC wants news to take over.
There's sports. You're in way over your head. 400 yards away from where this is happening.
We are the only people capable of following it live. This is our story, and we're keeping it. What do I tell the cameras? What do you mean? I mean, can we show someone being shot on live television?
We're on. The piece of what have been called the Marine Olympics was shattered this morning. The games are still going on. Within a few hundred yards, 9 terrified living human beings are being held prisoner. That was a look at the new movie, September 5. The film goes inside the ABC Sports control room at the 1972 Munich Olympics, when a terrorist group took members of the Israeli delegation hostage. In a whirlwind 22 hours, ABC Sports president Roone Arledge and coordinating producer Jeffrey Mason must fight to stay in control of the story as the harrowing events play out on live television, watched by an estimated 900 million people worldwide in real time. Joining us now, co-stars of September 5, Peter Sarsgaard, who plays Roone Arledge, John Magaro playing Jeffrey Mason, and the real Jeffrey Mason is with us at the table as well. Jeffrey, a 24-time Emmy Award-winning producer and executive, and serves as co-producer on the film. Thanks to all of you for being here. Jeffrey, we'll start with you. Thank you. Just watching, even here, the trailer, again, watching these moments that you lived through, what is that like?
It's a first experience for me. I've never had anybody play me. There was never a reason for anybody to play me.
I have it on Morning Joe.
Back to how difficult that day was. I still feel it when I think of it. But the way Peter and played their roles in the movie is really, really accurate.
After 2
really
cups of
authentic,
coffee.
And even though it is a dramatic recreation of what we went through
And
that day,
more coffee coming in today.
I'm proud to be part of it.
So Peter, tell us what drew you to this story, and in particular,
Those be 2 small bags of Starbucks.
Caught with Jeffrey in the middle of what became such a defining television event.
Well, when it first came to me, actually, Sean Penn is one of our producers, and he actually was in my first movie I ever did, was Dead Man Walking. And so I looked at it in a different way. You know, it
The
had
Walking
this
Dead.
stamp on it. And then I met the director, Tim, and for me, the most important thing with this story was that it be told truthfully, because it's about these guys trying to tell the story as it
I'll turn
happens
this
in the most
around
accurate way.
right here.
And if we had
Ooh.
someone who was interested in hyperbole, it would have thrown off the whole message of the movie. So this guy was obsessive, you know, like the equipment was going to be the actual equipment.
But
He wanted to use this documentary footage.
I looked
And
up,
he showed
not
me
looked
some of
up.
it, and seeing Jim McKay on that
I
day, that's how we had
uploaded a whole bunch of videos yesterday. Some of them are shorts because now I think that the shorts are now 3 minutes long. You can do a 3-minute long short. It's something like that.
You know, first of all, there were so many people we wanted to honor who were in that control room, and obviously the victims and everyone on that day. And sometimes when you're playing a real person who exists, it's kind of a detriment, but Jeff was.
But what I might do tonight is when I'm asleep, cut down the volume on my phone and play some of my videos, so just put it on a loop.
Was because of Jeff and his how revered he is in the broadcast world.
It'll just get me more watch time.
That he feels like I got it right.
So Jeff, let's talk about that. There's a real, we sort of alluded to it on the way in. There's real tension between the sports side and the news side.
But it won't be a short. It'll be a regular video.
Well, we mentioned it in the movie. ABC News in New York was quite anxious to get on top of the biggest story on the planet. And Roone Arledge spent a lot of time on the phone talking to New York during that day.
But I got my vitamins for the month that I need to get every month.
From our broadcast center. So there was really no reason that we could see to give it back to, a host in New York. Why would we want to do that? So Roone won the argument. He kept it. We knew we had it. We knew we were capable of telling the story the way it should be told. And it turned out pretty well.
Those numbers, 900 million viewers, 900. At what point in the day did you realize just how big and how momentous what was happening?
ABC
When you were there.
on MSNBC.
Elise, we were so busy, we never thought about it.
Well,
That day, we were too busy. Truthfully,
former.
the next day,
Hello.
Jim McKay got a telegram from
Oh yeah, my blood sugar has shipped.
couldn't have been done better.
I just got the text message. So I should be getting that Monday. Yeah.
Some unexpected visitors make their presence felt in the ABC Sports Control Room.
But they only allowed me to get the one. Walmart, do better. Do better. I normally get more than one.
Jesus Christ, all live cams off. 3, Charlie, that's you too. Turn the tower cam off. Happy?
Hey, what's going on here?
They just took us off the air.
Sam Stein, next question is yours.
Well, let me just say, first of all, that...
And that's where everything went to NBC.
Spielberg, which details the aftermath of this incident, was also an amazing film. And I have a question...
Not really.
For John or Peter, honestly. The production of this film clearly took place during or in the aftermath of October 7th. We've had this very intense political debate around, acts of terrorism, responses, culpability for them. Obviously, this movie isn't necessarily about that. It's about a news coverage of a terrorist incident. But to a degree, was that in the back of your mind as you sought to portray these newsmen covering this horrific event?
Ooh, when Karens go too fucking far. Sounds like something I would watch.
October 7th hadn't happened when we started shooting this. In fact, we were done editing when that event tragically occurred. But I don't think it would have changed anything in the way I approached it. This is a story about media and the media's response to tragic events and how we as consumers of these events in our homes and now on our phones and through all these devices are how it's given to us. I think we wanted to show this time when the media forever changed, and that was our goal. It was never to be political or apolitical. This is a crisis that has been going on for decades. You could argue millennia. There was no way we were going to solve it, and I think we wouldn't have been honoring the people on that day and the crew on that day if we tried to do it any other way. I just want to say that this was bound to happen. Technology had reached that point, so whether it was that conflict or a different conflict, it was inevitable. It just so happens that was the tragedy that was unfolding.
Yeah, and if anything, the events of October 7th amplified the issues that the movie's about, right? Which are about issues of journalism.
Yeah, no question there. Well, the new movie September 5 is playing in select theaters beginning today, and it goes nationwide starting January 17th. Co-stars Peter Sarsgaard and John Magaro, and one of the subjects of the film, former television executive Jeffrey Mason. Thanks to all three of you. Congratulations on this. Thanks for having us.
Let's see, now would be
January 4th. I'm Elise
Right at the. Let me show you.
Donald Trump gets a sentencing date for his 2016 election interference conviction, but the judge takes prison time for the president-elect off the table. Plus, Mike Johnson rings the speaker's gavel. Now comes the hard part, trying to govern with his very narrow Republican majority. Congressman Kamala Jayapal joins us. And D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser joins the conversation ahead of a busy few weeks for the nation's capital. So grab your coffee, settle in, welcome to the weekend. It is a new year, there is a new Congress, and we have a seismic new development in the case against Donald Trump. After a dramatic first vote and lengthy backroom discussions, Mike Johnson narrowly held onto the speaker's gavel. Johnson's effort to win on the first ballot seemed sunk after Republicans Thomas Massie, Ralph Norman, and Keith Self initially voted against him. But Self and Norman changed their votes roughly 20 minutes after a slapdash call with Donald Trump, who interrupted his golf game to urge the conference to, quote, get united. The vote was open for 2 hours, y'all. As Johnson's critics buckled under pressure from Trump, Judge Juan Merchan was denying Trump's bid to dismiss the 2016 election interference conviction, where he was found guilty on 34 felony counts stemming from hush money payments to an adult film star. Judge Merchan set Trump's sentencing date for Friday, January 10th at 9:30 a.m. In that ruling, Merchan indicated he would likely spare Trump any punishment for the crimes. No prison time, no fines, no probation. 10 days after that sentence is scheduled to deliver, Donald Trump is going to be sworn in as the 47th President of the United States. Joining us now are NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Julie Sumpter, who is literally on Capitol Hill, and MSNBC political contributor and political White House correspondent Eugene Daniels. Can I just know, Eugene Daniels, I was just listening earlier this week, and Eugene, they said, oh, he's coming. I said, great. And then I keep hearing, Eugene, is that home?
She wanted me.
I was just like, oh, I hope you're coming around for the weekend. And here he is.
And here he is at the table. We're glad to have you at the table. Julie, we'd love to have you at the table.
Julie, I'm sorry, our table's not big enough to have.
Our table's not big enough.
So maybe if we get a new table in the new year, you can join us at the table.
And open a new table. That's how we work. But it's good to have you on the Hill, because yesterday, I mean, you could not appreciate the split screen more than to have the machinations of trying to win this on the first ballot for Mike Johnson, which was the goal from the very beginning, and holding the vote open for 2 hours and trying to work the machinations, getting Trump to get off the back nine for just a moment to deal with his party, and then to have Judge Merchan say, you're still convicted. And
You're still
so
convicted.
How did that play out? What was that vibe like on the Hill? First, with trying to get this thing secured for Johnson, and then almost literally the moment it happens, Judge Merchan said, oh, by the way, you're still convicted.
Yeah, I mean, I think Republicans here have stopped paying attention to anything going on in terms of legal ramifications for Trump, especially now that he's about to take the White House in just a couple of weeks here. Yesterday was really an important test for Trump, for Republicans here. And I'll tell you, he placed not one phone call during his golf game, but two, the second of which was actually on speakerphone, I'm told, with Mike Johnson sitting at the table and the holdout sitting at the table. And Trump basically telling them, Mike's the only one who can get to 218. So let's just make this happen. And it was really important for Trump, I'm told, not to let this get into the second ballot or third ballot. It was important for him to get this done the first time around. Obviously, Republicans, remember, and are scarred, have PTSD, as do I, of witnessing it, of that 15-round vote for Kevin McCarthy. Trump didn't want that, especially when they have to certify his election win on Monday, especially when they literally can't do anything without a speaker. I think Mike Johnson's headache is just going to get bigger over these next 2 years, though.
So there was a big list of demands. I'm sure you saw the letter from the Freedom Caucus, Eugene, among them permanent border reforms without amnesty or immigration expansion, rampant inflationary spending to guarantee deficit reduction. There's also just some stuff in there about like how many days a week they want to work and the functionality of the House. What did Norman, what did Self get in exchange for this vote?
What's really interesting is Mike Johnson said he didn't want to make any deals to become speaker. And it seems like he didn't make any actual deals, right? We don't have any indication that he told people that they were did this or that. That's something that our Kevin McCarthy did, and ended up biting him at the end of the day. And so what they got is Donald Trump kind of pushing them to do their job, and it is gonna look like it was like you said, 2 hours is a very long time. People running around, it doesn't look good. We thought it was gonna have to go to second, maybe even a third ballot, but it was impressive, right? He was able to corral everybody around. But that doesn't mean that things are gonna get easier. Things are gonna keep getting harder, because what he definitely realized, what we've all learned over the years, is that House Freedom Caucus, the folks that created that letter, many of them, they don't have loyalty to Donald Trump. They don't have loyalty to the party. A lot of them really are kind of here because of kind of conservative fiscal responsibility, right? Someone like Chip Roy, people like Andy Biggs, who have gone against their party over and over again, and they're going to do that to Mike Johnson.
I mean, that's a really interesting point, because in the aftermath, while Mike Johnson said Donald Trump helped him get this vote over the finish line and lock in these members, the members who were holdouts, many of them said, it wasn't Trump. I know where Trump was. This was about me. And so to me, that says a couple things. One, it was like a shot across the bow to say, hey, we know y'all done changed the rules on the threshold. We got at least 9 people that are not, they are willing to buck the system. And also, 2, Donald Trump doesn't tell us what to do. So I thought that was interesting. Can we play Hakeem Jeffries? Because this is what he had to say on where Dems stand yesterday. This was prior to handing the gavel to Speaker Johnson.
Democrats will never abandon the long walk toward freedom. We will fight hard to defend the freedom of opportunity that makes the American dream possible. America promises one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That's the America House Democrats will fight hard to preserve.
Hakeem Jeffries truly was on fire there. Personally, I liked everything he had to say in his speech except the first minute. He was talking about the fact that campaign is over, it's time to put the swords, partisanship down and pick up the plow of bipartisanship. I don't really know what that's about. What is the tone and tenor for Democrats on the Hill here? Because in one breath, they're like, we want to work together. But then in another breath, Mike Johnson is like, forget everything y'all talking about. America first. Help me up. I love your notes for ChatGPT. Yes, I do. Sorry, Julie, go ahead.
No, that's an important note to point out. I'm glad you did. Look, it's a really good question. I think that this is just going to be an incredibly long road the next 2 years, because Republicans led by Trump do not want to work with Democrats. They don't want to cut deals with them. They don't want their votes.
Let me fix me another cup of coffee and some my butt's about ready to get sore.
They want to do stuff on immigration, on the border, everything Trump wants to do on tax cuts, on cutting the spending. All of this he wants to do is without Democratic votes. So Democrats are saying, okay, and that's why yesterday they didn't sit and vote president like they did a couple of months ago to bail Johnson out after he passed Ukraine aid. They voted for Jeffries. All of them were united behind Hakeem Jeffries. At one point, it actually looked like Jeffries had more votes than Johnson did, and we're waiting on a couple of those holdouts, including the 7 who didn't actually vote until the very end. They kind of just let their names skip by. So Johnson has a real problem with his margins here. They're even tighter this time around than they were in the last conference. But Trump doesn't care about that. Neither do the hardliners who are going to mess everything up for Johnson and make it difficult for him over the next 2 years. And then if he turns to Democrats, the Democrats are going to use their leverage and extract what they can with Johnson. Democrats and Republicans alike.
Yeah, I think that's an important part of it. To the extent it matters. But I think too, to put a finger on a very important aspect of this that really will be the focus of what your coverage and the coverage that Julie and others have on the Hill. And it's not the House, and it will be the Senate. Because at the end of the day, the House is a process. And the reality of it is they will basically that's about it. The Senate is where the work is going to be done and where the negotiation is going to be and where Donald Trump is going to face his reality on the budget conversation. conversations, on the debt conversations, which begin in March, on immigration, all the other pieces that they want to put together. How do you see from your reporting that kind of playing itself out the Senate piece of this, which everyone's kind of looking past? Everybody's focused on Mike Johnson. Yeah, Johnson got one. Yeah, he gave him a gavel. He got a gavel, right? But the reality of it is the work is going to be in the other chamber.
Yeah, that's kind of always the case, right? Like the House will do all this work, they'll go back and forth, they'll feel like they have a bill, they'll get it passed, and then they'll say, like, that's cute, but here's what we got. Right? That's the bill that typically gets to the president's desk. You know, the House will be messy, the conference, the Republican conference was unwieldy, it kind of always will be. But for Senator John Thune, he's going to be the one that's tested over and over and over again, right? Because for the kinds of things that Donald Trump has said that he wants to do that seem unpopular with the American people, does he sign on to those kinds of things when you're talking about kind of bills that they're going to pass when, you know, are we going to go back to the wall? What kind of bill does need to be passed? But the kind of mass deportation that Donald Trump is talking about, the Senate John Thune going to be able to do. This John Thune is one of the most established Republican politics that many of the leadership of the Republican Party are very moderate Republicans. That's not who John Thune is. And so he's probably going to be a thing at the side of Donald Trump over and over again. Let's see, this guy's not cheap, right? But he has a future past the 4 years of Donald Trump. He has to figure out what this is.
And his role to that point becomes more important because in 26, House the Senate Republicans have to defend that majority, and they need to grow that majority. Fortunately for them, they have more seats up than Democrats.
That's why John Thune was out here like, keeping the civil.
That's so true. Julie Circuit, Eugene Daniels, thank you guys very much for starting us off on this first weekend of the new year. Next hour, we'll talk to Congresswoman Camilla John Paul about the speaker vote and the new Congress. And folks, be sure to follow our show on social media. You know you love us where you find us. Our handle everywhere is at The Weekend, MSNBC.
Can your pad absorb everything and stay fresh? Always Flex-Foam can. It's the only pad made with a flexible foam core that locks in blood and sweat while the top stays dry, keeping you up to 100% leak and odor-free. Let's see what foam can do for you. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors. Easy to apply for the whole family. Vicks Vapor Stick. And try new Vapor Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors.
If you're over 50, imagine you could turn back the clock on your stiff, achy joints 10, even 20 years. Imagine you could do this without products that just temporarily hide the symptoms. Imagine no more. Instaflex Advanced. Get a complimentary sample just by texting PUNCH to 231231. Instaflex Advanced is different because it targets the root cause of joint soreness and stiffness. It doesn't just cover up symptoms. Instead, it feeds your joints in a combination of 5 key natural ingredients found in no other product. Key ingredients backed by 5 clinical studies. Instaflex Advanced is so powerful, you can have better knees in just 1 week. Maybe that's why it's #1 at GNC. But you can only get your complimentary sample by texting PUNCH to 231231. Plus, text now and we'll include a tube of Instaflex pain cream with its exclusive oxygenated oil for fast-acting relief from the pain of arthritis, backaches, and sore muscles. Absolutely free. Text AUNCH to 23123.
Alright, I got coffee already made. Water already boiling. Although I think it's boiling. Yes, it'll cut off by itself.
Breaking up a little. Are you really ranked #1 in coverage? Yep. And playing started at just $20. Oh, we can afford lessons for Linda. You're embarrassing yourself. It's not fun. So just because you're ranked #1 in network coverage satisfaction, right now, but you're second. Coffee for us earlier today.
numerous bits of newspaper that's just the big news of the day, but all of a sudden Judge Juan Rashad comes down on the fact that he wants Donald Trump's sentence on January 10th. What happens between now and about January 6th? There needs to be the certification of an election. January 10th is likely to get appeals. Perhaps they move for a stay. Maybe it doesn't actually happen on January 10th. Maybe it's just a possibility. No, I think more inauguration.
I think Rashad was putting in all of this stuff. I mean, we're here because this is where Donald Trump and his legal team wanted us to be.
Which he said. His order.
Right.
Well, so Judge Rashad in the order holding the sentencing yesterday said this. He said to vacate the verdict on the grounds that the charges are insufficiently serious given the position defendant once held and is about to assume again, this is E6, y'all, will constitute the disproportionate result and cause immeasurable damage to the citizenry's confidence in the rule of law. So he did feel like he had to do it. The president-elect is at this morning, and he has thoughts on his social media site. He is not happy about that.
He's not happy.
Have been a president who so easily and illegally treated his eye. Corrupt Democrat judges and prosecutors have gone against the political opponent of a president. Me. As a political just in case I want to be clear.
Me, I'm the president.
You know, I mean, I'm glad Judge Rashad did this, but I'm also like disappointed because it seems performative in a sense because you're saying, oh, you're still convicted, you must come to sentencing, but I'm not going to sentence you.
But okay, true. True. But here's the beauty. That's why I keep saying those two words, still convicted. Because no matter whether or not the sentencing, this is the part that everyone needs to understand. That's the afterthought. That's the after action. It is way after, or it's very close to when the jury says you're guilty. That's the seminal moment in any criminal case. Is when the jury of your peers say you did it and you're guilty for it. So when the judge comes back and goes, okay, they found you guilty, you're guilty. I got a range of things I can do to you. And all the judges saying that, okay, I will acknowledge the fact that you
Put him up under house arrest.
That's
what I'm saying. Put him up under house arrest. I believe he's going to be the first.
I may not give you jail time, but you will not be able to erase what that jury did. And that, by the judge saying what he's saying, is an important piece. Everyone don't get tripping out about, oh my God, he didn't give him any time and he's not making a He's still convicted. 2 words, baby. That's all it takes.
Still convicted.
There you go. It's in the coffee. It's in the coffee.
More coffee. We're getting an update on the FBI investigation into that horrific attack in New Orleans. We're watching the weekend. What is that? That's why VisionWorks makes it simple to schedule an eye exam that works for you, even if you have a big trip to plan around.
Thanks.
Megan, see you right now. That's convenient. VisionWorks. See the difference.
This H-Define foundation is a game changer.
Can you see how this is immediately smoothing out my lines?
It has pumping hyaluronic acid,
Look at this. Built in the skin.
skin-like finish.
Oh, they got it. They got it. Artificial intelligence, shape matching, magic, whatever.
Why do they keep on calling me?
Take the Power Match quiz to find your perfect shape.
Keep yo. It's Saturday. Damn. With the shing dang parlay. Oh my God, with the shing dang parlay. I'm gonna hit you with that. I'm gonna hit you with shing dang parlay. Hey. I love that commercial. As of how he said, I'm gonna hit you with the shing dang parlay.
Did you know some liquid laundry detergents are designed to leave chemical residue on your clothes? Try Earth-Breeze laundry detergent sheets. Unlike some liquid laundry detergents,
I'm gonna hit ya.
Earth-Breeze delivers a powerful clean with less chemical residue and no optical breakers. Plus, each sheet is made of 100% concentrated cleaning ingredients. clean with less chemical residue. Try Earth Breeze, available at Walmart. Brand Power, helping you buy better.
To buy or not to buy? That is their question. And nobody knows shoppers better than Shopify. The undisputed, undefeated checkout champion of the world. Businesses that want to win.
And if they come, they come. If they don't, they don't. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm Gucci. I could have as many as I want. I'm good. I normally get the reply. I normally get the replay crew. Replay crew? It's on point. My replay crew is on site. Ooh, wee. But it is what it is, 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 what it is. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, ay. Oh, I forgot I got my other TV on.
Prilosec knows for a fire, one fire extinguisher beats 10 buckets of water. And for zero heartburn, one Prilosec a day beats taking up to 10 antacids a day. It's that simple. For 24-hour heartburn relief, one beats 10. Prilosec OTC.
Your best defense against erosion and cavities is strong enamel. Nothing beats it. I recommend Pronamel Active Shield because it actively shields the enamel to defend against erosion and cavities. I think that this product is a game changer for my patients. It really works.
President Biden will travel to New Orleans on Monday to meet with the families of the victims of the New Year's Day terror attack. The FBI believes the attacker acted alone and was inspired by ISIS. That attacker, the Army veteran, drove a pickup truck into a crowd on Bourbon Street in the early morning hours of New Year's Day, killing 14 people. NBC News.
I thought it was 15. Oh, including the gunman. Shit.
To prevent such an attack, but did not use them on Bourbon Street on New Year's Eve. NBC News Justice reporter Ryan Riley joins us now.
Brian, can you give us just the latest on this investigation into New Orleans? In the immediate aftermath, there was lots of hubbub about how the attacker likely did not act alone, but since then the FBI has ruled that out. What do we know?
Yeah, that's a constant theme for the FBI. Often after these attacks, they'll say, "Oh, we think."
I'm listening to what they're saying.
Was involved, but honestly, you don't need another person in most of these attacks. And if you just look historically at attacks in the past, the only real exception to that was the Tsarnaev brothers. The boss third person is an FBI special agent, especially on a lot of these, or an FBI undercover or an FBI confidential human source. Because as soon as they introduce that third person to the mix, that's almost always the case. There's always some guy who says, "Oh, I just got just the guy who can build these bombs for you right around the corner. Let me introduce you to him." So, as soon as you involve more people in these conspiracies, it becomes that's when it opens up. That's when the FBI gets themselves in there because they do have a real focus on Islamic terrorism, sometimes to the default of missing a lot of domestic terrorism, and that's what the flaw was really here. Because what you're ultimately talking about is someone who was not coordinating necessarily overseas, but was self-inspired and read a lot of these things on the internet. So it has a lot of I think there's this distinction between domestic quote-unquote terrorism and international terrorism that changes how the FBI can approach it, but doesn't ultimately it makes it more difficult for them to handle sort of domestic issues. But I think a lot of people don't understand what the difference is there, right? Because you're not really talking about necessarily working with somebody overseas, but it means designating.
Inspired by ISIS, online rise live.
Exactly. And but the underlying ideology is has these huge distinctions here where, suddenly if you're inspired by a foreign terrorist organization, there's all these things the FBI can do that they can't do when it was just a domestic. So if you're talking about right-wing terrorism, for example, it's a lot harder for the FBI to approach that.
We have to change our laws in the U.S. to recognize domestic terrorism on the same plane as we see foreign terrorism, because it is connected. It's much more connected now than it was.
So this happens the same day as the Cybertruck attack in Vegas. I know the police are now releasing some of the letters that driver wrote with the rules.
Yeah, I did a deep dive into the Tesla Cybertruck driver, and it was just fascinating because you can piece together so much of his life, right? So you can learn that he got divorced, then he was I found his dating profile, and then he was on this website just getting out there. Then within a year he's engaged, and then within 2 or 3 years he has a kid. So a very quick succession of events, along with the stressors of being in the military. And he has now they put out that letter. They found it on the phone that he blew up. That they were able to recover, and that really sent the message of what he was trying to do. And what he laid out there is that he was saying that Americans don't really pay attention unless there's some sort of spectacle, and he thinks that America is headed towards a collapse. And he had sort of a wide variety of mix of ideologies. He wrote,
"We're seeing increasingly."
Yes, yeah. I don't know how I would define him exactly, because he's sort of all over the map a little bit, right? Where you see some stuff where, his friends and family said he was very pro-America, pro-Trump, right? But then also, back in the day when after the war, he was, this is 20 years ago now, he wrote a letter to his paper talking about how there shouldn't be this, we shouldn't get out of Afghanistan or should get out of Iraq very quickly, because that would mean that all of the sacrifices that soldiers made were for nothing. And I just think it's all over the map, and it's really tough to define him in this narrow ideological category.
You know what's so disturbing about what happened on New Year's, the attack on New Year's Day in New Orleans, and then the Cybertruck explosion in Las Vegas? I think the stories of real people, they just get lost because there were folks whose lives were unnecessarily cut short, particularly in New Orleans, by a senseless act of terrorism. Really,
Amen.
very young folks. There was a young woman who had just graduated and was going to nursing schools.
Like her mom.
Yeah, there was a mom. Yes, look at these are people, and I just think behind every news story, people have to remember that there are folks who are missing a seat at their table. There are children that are going to grow up without their parents because of a senseless act of violence on New Year's Day. Thank you for Thank you, Ryan. Thank you so much. Here in Washington, folks, we're going to turn to talk about the preparations that are underway for Donald Trump's inauguration. Mayor Muriel Bowser met with the president-elect.
Not watching. No, there's a damn.
You're watching. Yeah.
Here's to getting better with age. Here's to feeding these two every Thursday.
Healthier today with high protein. Complete nutrition you need and the flavor you love. So here's to now available Boost Max.
Herbal Essences is a force of nature. Our shampoos and conditioners are made with supercharged botanicals. These sulfate-free formulas deeply penetrate and replenish nutrients to boost hair health in just one wash. All without the Salon Naturals price tag. It's supercharged herbal essences.
The promise of America is freedom, equality. But right now, those pillars of our democracy are fragile, and our rights are under attack. Reproductive rights, voting rights, the right to make your own choices and have your voice heard. We must act now to restore and protect these freedoms for us and for the future, and we can't do it without you. We are the American Civil Liberties Union. Will you join us? Call or go online to myaclu.org to become a guardian of liberty today. Your gift of just $19 a month, only 63 cents a day, will help ensure that together we can continue to fight for free speech, liberty, and justice. Your support is more urgently needed than ever.
Reproductive rights are on the line, and we are looking at going backwards. We have got to be here, and we've got to be strong to protect those rights.
So please, join the ACLU now. Call or go to myaclu.org and become an ACLU guardian of liberty for just $19 a month. When you use your credit card, you'll receive this special We the People t-shirt, member card, magazine, and more to show your
We the people means all of us. So please call or go online to myaclu.org to become a
I'm going to go ahead and end this for now. So y'all be good. See y'all later. Bye-bye.